Good morning, people. I just want to do a brief review on the Gerbing T5 gloves. I've owned a pair of T5 heated gloves for about 4 or 5 years now, and they've been brilliant. I love the gloves. The early batch, or the first batch, had wires in the back of the fingers, and they heated up and then kept the backs of your hands warm, which is brilliant. But the wires were metallic or metal, so after years and years of using the clutch so many times, eventually the wires snapped and broke the connection, and it was usually the left glove that packed up. However, Gerbing is a very, very good company, great backup, and they offer a lifetime guarantee on the manufacture of the heating elements. So I sent them back a few days ago, and I got these ones through. My old gloves were called the T5, the new ones are called the T5. But now they use what you call a micro wire technology. It's a sort of a carbon fibre-y type element now, which is a lot stronger than the metal. The gloves are also slightly different because they've actually got material, as opposed to them being 100% leather. They're like 80% and then 20% material. I've also got a nice Velcro wrist strap to help keep it secure. Very easy to put on. Little drawstring just there if you wanted to take the cuffs up, but I don't. And also there's a little handy pocket here. Now whether that's for a battery pack or what, I don't really know, but it's very clever. I don't know what that's for as well. I'll have to find out later on. That might be actually the battery pack. I think that will actually go through the back of there, come out there, and then the external battery pack sits in. So that's probably why they call them a hybrid glove, because they can either run off the battery's power on the bike, or they can run off their own rechargeable battery pack, which you will buy extra from Gerbing. There we go. Just found out something new live on air. The manufacturer or the quality of these gloves is fantastic. Look at the delicacy of the stitching on that. Absolutely beautiful. They look like little reflective bits in the knuckles as well. And on the palms, you've got the padding where it matters. So the reason I decided to have another pair of Gerbings is because the last pair was so good. I've been out in minus 20 degrees and they're incredible. I've got heated grips on the bike, which were fitted when I bought the bike, otherwise I wouldn't have bothered fitting them. These gloves will retail at about £130–140, and with them you get a 4-position controller, temperature controller. Once you turn them on, it starts off red at 100% power, amber 75%, green 50%, flashing green 25%, and then off completely. The controller is connected to the bike battery by this plug, and the plug that goes into the battery is the same plug that I've had for the last 4 or 5 years or so. So they've kept the same connections, which is very, very handy. The reason they put this controller on is, whether they admit it or not, Gerbing made a bit of a mistake and didn't realise how good these micro wire fibres were. And I bought a pair of these gloves about 1.5 years ago for my girlfriend. And they got that hot, they actually burnt her knuckle. She actually had a scar on her knuckle. And so did one of the examiners at the test centre, who bought a pair off us as well. When I contacted Gerbing, they suggested that we buy the temperature controller, which was about £40. Seemed a little bit unfair at the time, because the gloves weren't fit for the purpose they were meant to be for, which is keeping your hands warm, not burning them. Which we'd had to buy anyway, otherwise the gloves would have been useless. But luckily, I couldn't have been the only guy making the complaint, because they've now fitted this free of charge. Cracking controller, really good, lights up very well, and it's also easy to operate when you've got your gloves on your hands at the time. So what we're going to do is just basically have a ride, and we'll do a review on how they feel whilst you're riding. Okay, so we've got the connector just here, and this fits into the connector just there. But what I do first of all is I have my jacket slightly undone, and I feed that down my jacket so that it comes out just here. And then I zip the jacket up to neaten the wires up a bit. And there we go. So the gloves go on first. These wires don't really get in your way at all. Have a look at this. Look. I need to get that repaired. Okay. You see the plug there, look? It simply plugs in. As soon as it plugs in, it goes through a checklist of various colours and switches off. Now today isn't that cold, so I'm going to press it once, full power, 75, 50, 25. I'm going to hold it on 25%. And I can actually feel the backs of the fingers starting to warm up already. It's a very comfortable warmth as well. If you put them on full power, which I did last night, they do actually get too hot. I can't ever see with the quality of these gloves you need in full power. Initially they feel a little bit stiff on the controls, like the throttle morning and the brake. But then again, my other gloves did as well. Any new glove that you get, eventually, you can see the fingers are starting to crease now, look. So eventually they'll start to form themselves into that sort of position and they'll become more comfortable. I always get my gloves one size too big. It doesn't affect my control of the machine, but it also allows a little bit of air circulation around my fingers. People think if you put inner gloves on, it's going to keep your hands warmer. It doesn't. Heating your clothing relies on several thinner layers and trapping layers of air in between your clothing layers. So if anything, the tighter your clothing, the more you're going to actually feel the cold. So I'm very, very pleased with the gloves. Gerbing also do a model called the G3, I think it is, and they retail at about £115, about another £20 less. One of my instructors, Jamie, has got a pair of them and he loves them. So there's about 5 or 6 people I know now that have electrically heated gloves, and not one person has said anything bad about them. If you look there, you can see I've got heated grips, but they're switched off. I don't need them. They do the job if it's just getting a little bit cold, but if you're getting into some seriously low temperatures, then you can't beat the Gerbing gloves for manufacture quality, service backup, value for money. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Now there's one more thing that I forgot to mention. The gloves are waterproof. Bye.